You started a panic on a public beach. You shot up the damn place. God knows who you could have injured. And what if somebody decides to sue us? Did you ever stop to think about that? It could ruin us.
You don't have to worry about being sued or being ruined. If this turns out to be what I think it is, because there won't be anybody here.
Yeah, now, Martin, let's not...
Let's not what, Larry? What?
Oh, Jesus, Larry, huh? Come on, let's just forget it. He won't listen. It's obvious the man has made up his mind.
You bet your life I've made up my mind. But I'm telling you and I'm telling everybody at this table that that's a shark. And I know what a shark looks like because I've seen one up close. And you better do something about this one because I don't intend to go through that hell again.
All right, people, welcome back to another exciting episode of Citizen Frame. Now, I did mention last podcast we weren't going to talk Jaws 2. But then I figured, fuck it, I've already watched it. I don't want to watch another one yet, so we're going to do Jaws 2.
Yeah, why not? It's still not safe.
We really have no fucking structure here, so fuck off if you don't want to listen to Jaws 2. And you know what? I'll tell you what right now. So we get a bum rap, 5.9 or something at IMDb. Listen, people, we know we're not getting Jaws. I mean, funny story here. Funny story time. Story time by Ciaran.
Jack and Ori.
What the fuck was that?
Jack and Ori. You know, you obviously haven't heard of Jack and Ori, which was an iconic British kids series.
Oh my God.
Where celebrities used to tell stories to kids. Well, it was very atmospheric and... No, they used to have people like Kenneth Williams from the Carry On films.
Nobody is listening to this. Our numbers from the States have fucking skyrocketed. And they're like, what the fuck's a Carry On film? I don't know.
I'm educating them. You know, I'm introducing them to iconic British atmospheric stuff.
Shut the fuck
and
up.
the Carry On films.
It's my podcast. Sorry, Trevor couldn't make it today. So anyways, we talk sequels a lot here. I just saw Meg 2.0. And we'll probably get to Meg 2.0 in Halloween month because we did the first one. They went batshit crazy. So
yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's nuts.
So what I respected about it, and listen, the guys from Jaws, same producers, okay, same writers. We got our boy Carl Gutterley back and Howard Sackler. We got John Williams back. We got the key core crew back, actor wise and actress wise. We got Zanuck and Brown back to produce. You kept it in the family, which I'm fair with, which I'm cool with. Now they even said, "There's no way we were going to beat Jaws or try to compete with Jaws." Okay, they knew that going in. So what they even said, we're not going to hide the shark. What's the point? It's been done. So this one, they said, we're just going to go for broke, up the budget, up the body count, and just go with it and have fun.
Yeah.
It was a cash grab, of course, $20 million in budget, 187 worldwide. Not bad.
Apparently at the time, it was like the most successful sequel ever. I think things like, obviously, Empire Strikes Back and stuff, went on to beat it. But at the time, it did really well. And there is a lot to like about this, and I am going to defend it as well. It's basically a late 70s, early 80s slasher that sort of reminds me a bit of Carrie as well, with the younger cast members, with a big shark instead of a knife-wielding maniac like Jason Voorhees.
Carrie? The fuck?
Yeah. The young cast, because it's just a look at them. There's even one of the characters, one of the teen girls that actually looks really like Sue Snell. I'm not saying in terms of the story, it's like Carrie, obviously not, but it's just the young cast reminded me of the cast of Carrie. It's from around the same period.
So we got, what's that? Something just popped up. Blah, blah. I am so fucking sick of computer updates. Oh, I want to update. Remember the old days? I'm talking 10 years ago. Your Windows just did it by itself and leave you the fuck alone. Now, there's a fucking update every 30 seconds.
Right?
Jesus Christ.
Right? Old man yells at cloud, First world problems. Do you ever see that thing it's like a newspaper clipping from The Simpsons with the old grandpa, and the headline is, "Old man yells at cloud." This is
fuck you.
This. So it is.
Fuck you. I'm yelling at fucking technology, not it's so advanced and wonderful. Then fucking update
Yeah, the
yourself and leave me
cloud.
the fuck alone. Fucking bastards. AI pricks. All right,
Right?
back to Jaws 2. Now, this was directed by, and if I butcher, I apologize, he just recently passed, Jano Schwartz. He's actually got a couple big hits under his belt. We did talk about one of his films, which is terrible. Sorry, buddy. Which was The Santa Claus with Dudley Moore and John Lithgow. God rest his soul,
Yeah.
pal, but that was God's shite. I said shite.
Shite, right?
Was
that
God's
some,
shite. I spoke like you for a second there.
right? Right. That was more like a sort of Dublin accent. You sounded more like the vampire from Sinners there.
Oh, that's cool. I'll take it.
You sounded like Leprechaun. To be sure. It's a lot of shite.
That's my wee pot of gold, you wee bastard.
That was more of a Belfast accent.
Fucking wee shite. My wee pot of gold, you fuck.
Right. That's guy. I don't even know what that was.
That was a good one. That's a speech impediment, probably, but All right, back to Jaws 2. Now, it's kind of fun. There was some wheeling and dealing going on. Nobody wanted to touch Jaws 2. And you know what? I get their point. I mean, come on. It's Jaws. Masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
Oscar winner. It's very hard to jump on board on this. But so what they did was there's a very, very successful romance drama that came out in 79, 80. Huge. And women love it. It's one of the most depressing fucking films I've ever seen. But it is pretty good. It's called Summer in Time with Christopher Reeve. And it also had Jane Seymour.
Okay.
Very beautiful Jane Seymour. It is one of the most depressing fucking films ever. But women love it. They seem to love romance movies where the lead guy dies. Titanic. Yeah. Didn't he die in that?
He did. Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to tell us something.
Even though she was floating on a condo.
Yeah, I mean, that's a ridiculous film anyway. I think that's the least of its problems. But at the end.
No, the lead actor, the lead role romance always gets fucked over. Bridge over Madison County. That's what happened.
Never seen it.
Fatal Attraction. That poor bastard really got screwed over. And the poor bunny.
Well, yeah. Haven't seen that in years. Since it was like on TV.
But I'm like, oh my God, it's about love.
Right? Okay. You do realize there's going to be all sorts of fucking complaints now, They'll be hoping that you get bumped off in Citizen Frame the movie. I'll bump him off, no problem. Pay me enough.
Citizen Frame the movie. I know Brad Pitt
already don't even have to pay me.
Brad Pitt already called. He's playing me.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So back to Jaws 2.
Go for it.
So Jean Schwartz wanted to direct this film badly. It's a passion project of his. So he said, we'll budget that film if you direct Jaws 2. And he says, cool, I'll do it. And they have to kind of do the same thing with Roy Scheider. Now, I don't know what happened here. This is an interesting one.
Yeah,
Roy Scheider wanted nothing to do with it. I'm sorry there. I was just interrupted by a Muppet. But Roy Scheider left, for some reason, The Deer Hunter, which is a big leave. You don't leave The Deer Hunter. But he still owed Universal 2 pictures. So Universal says, you do Jaws 2, we'll remove the 2-picture deal. You just have to do Jaws 2. He decided he was going to do it. Unfortunately, it was kind of a douche on the set. Didn't make things easy for people, which is not fair. But I will say this, in his defense, as later in his years before he's passing, he says he regrets that. And he says, I actually came around to the film later on in my years after viewing it a few times. So at least he came at peace with the film.
I've read that too. Apparently, he was basically, the deal was something along the lines of, he basically walked from The Deer Hunter. So obviously the studio were pissed over him walking. But they said, we'll forgive you and we'll sort things out for you if you come back and do Jaws 2. I would say...
Well, you know what?
Go ahead.
You know what? You said they got pissed because he was walking, but at least the Deer Hunter got Christopher walking.
Well, boom, boom. I would say as well,
Okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm fucking done with you, man. I am done. My humor is wasted on you. Wasted. That was fucking good one. Yep, it was improv. Boom, heat of the moment. I say it. He just went, I also like, and he just completely changed the subject. Not even giving a little that boy with that classic Christopher Walken.
Okay, Bob Hope. Sorry, you took that bad. But anyway, as I was about to say before, was rudely interrupted by a very aggressive and angry Muppet. Um, yeah, if Roy Schneider was a douche on the set, or he was quite in bad form, throughout the filming of this, I think it actually helps his performance, because I love the route that the character takes in this, where he becomes a Captain Ahab type obsessed with the shark, even though he's right. I think it's a great character turn, and it's followed up with some great scenes and quite dark scenes.
Let's we'll jump into that in a moment about the character arcs and where they went from the first one to this one. I have a problem with the Mayers and with Ellen's, and we'll certainly talk about that soon here. As we jump into the cast of Jaws 2, we've got a regular team back. Roy Scheider playing Chief Brody. We got Lorraine Gary playing Ellen Brody. We got our boy Murray Halliwell back, who I like to see, as Mayor Vaughn. And Jeffrey Kramer is back, who plays the sidekick Hendrix. Now we got the new douchebag, Joseph Mascolo, who plays Peterson.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the new Vaughn, I guess you can say. And we got the data dump, I like to say the cameo Hooper part, Dr. Elkins.
Yes.
And then we got the dipshits.
Like all of the rest of them are dipshits, essentially. Yep. Like every single there's 2 Napoleon Dynamites here as well, which was
I saw that. So we got Tina, Mike, Andy, Jackie, Polo, Tommy, Larry, Doug, Brooke, Marge, Bob, Patrick, and Ed. These are all the dipshits. These are all going to be eaten, and I'm fine with that.
Oh, I was
kind of right. This is kind of like the slasher team you get from Friday the 13th about to get butchered.
Yeah, I was 100% on the side of the shark anytime they were on the screen. I would also say that Brody's deputy is another dipshit. So he is, and I wanted him to get killed. I was
he's all right. He's all right. But I do want to give a little shout out to Doug. This is one of his first roles. And he was the one reading the book, and they threw the water balloon at him.
Yes.
He was the nerd. This guy called Keith Gordon. Now, Keith Gordon had actually quite a successful career as an actor in the 70s and 80s. He was in Dress to Kill. He was the lead in Christine. Yep. He was the lead in Back to School. And then he ended up moving to directing, where he did Waking the Dead and a fucking great film called A Midnight Clear. And then he does piles of TV, from Dexter to Fargo to The Strain. So he's done well for himself, and it's nice to see him. And
good on him.
And yeah, he just kind of didn't want to do acting anymore and want to do something different.
Yeah.
But there you go. I do like, now the opening sequence is nothing like the original. You're not going to top it. They, like I mentioned at the beginning here, the filmmakers knew that. But I do like how they plant the seed a bit. And all it is these photographers that get attacked by the shark.
Yeah.
And the music starts. We love our John Williams score. But it's pretty much just a little Easter egg they're peppering in the beginning of the film, because this camera is going to come back.
Yeah, exactly. They're setting up the scene later on to basically clear Brody's name. Oh, it doesn't really though. But it's basically it's a plot device setting up scenes later on, essentially. But also we'll get a glimpse of the orca from the original.
Yeah, that's what I really did like. A little pull the heartstrings a little bit. You saw the orca just sitting down there.
Yeah.
And so it was nice. I think their main thing was they weren't going to overdo it with the shark. What they wanted to do was a little nod to the hat for the original. It's the orca. Here's where it is. Where it lies. And it comes, obviously the photographers get it.
Yeah.
They don't, what can I say? They don't oversell the scene.
No, I would
they don't try to top the Chrissy scene.
I would say overall, again, it's obviously because of Spielberg not being here, but I don't want to give a full review now, but this scene is an example of a lack of tension. I would say that the script here is actually really good, but the direction wise, for example, with this opening scene, there is a lack of tension that we got in the original with Spielberg.
Well, I don't think that was their point. I do think, the whole point was just to a little nod to the orca, and then these guys get it, but it will come back to play. There's a point for this scene, not just a little, wink.
Yes, but if you're going to if you're going to have a scene with the killer shark, you want to make it as tense and as scary as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you're right to an extent, but I think they can't go for that because they know they're not topping the original. Now, there's a jump scare in this one that's fucking brilliant. And I will say this, they up the game, what do you do for a horror sequel? You up the body count. And there's some decent scenes coming up here that I really enjoy. And there's a jump scare that scares the fuck out of me with one of the divers. We'll talk about
I know
it.
what you're talking about, yeah.
It's a wonderful scene. And then the per kid Ed who gets it is a wonderful scene.
Yeah.
And then when Marge gets it, there's some really good stuff here.
Yeah. Again, like I say, also, I also think it's a really good idea, script-wise, to up the ante by putting kids in peril. It's basically all a bunch of kids here who are the main sort of ones in danger, as I think that's a wise decision. Again, this script is solid.
So Ella now I think she's like party committee girl.
Yes.
And she's working for this douchebag Peterson.
She works for the council, basically.
Yeah, and we'll jump into that. We'll jump into that one a little in a moment here when the time's right.
Yeah.
When he gets fired, and we'll talk more about their arcs there, which kind of throw me off and kind of does a little disservice to the original.
Yeah.
Now there's a beautiful shot, it's the best shot of the film.
Yeah.
And they're at the pool party, whatever they're doing, pool party committee, whatever the fuck. And
that's a dance type thing.
Yeah, well, it's some kind of grand opening or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like a prom, but with adults there as well.
That's fucking creepy.
They've got
Miss
Amityville there.
The Amity Island inbred.
Yeah. It's yeah. See, it's scenes like this genuinely reminded me of Carrie. I know that obviously it's a completely different story, but I was just thinking Carrie.
Yeah, I never even thought, but no big deal. To each their own. I still can't believe you didn't appreciate that Christopher Walken thing.
It was all right.
It was not. That was fucking good. Fucking good.
Don't give up the day job.
I guarantee our listening audience is going, Ciaran, he's so class.
Yeah,
why does that douche Trevor not understand?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they are.
Wow.
More like rolling their eyes and saying, "What the fuck?"
You know what? I want people you better fucking write in, people. I'll say it again. It's _podcast on Instagram or reach out on Facebook. You know what? Here's our personal email.
Send them email.
It's citizenframe@outlook.com. And I will see every email. Send me an email. Say how much you hate him. And how much
send them hate mail to save me the hassle of doing it myself.
See, now because they're all like, God, Ciaran, you're so funny and clever, and we really appreciate you.
Let's shake it up a bit and have someone else send them the hate mail instead of me. Why not?
Anyways, back to Jaws 2.
Back to
this is
the
the longest
shark.
podcast ever.
Yeah.
Longest podcast ever. But anyways, it's a night shot. It's night, and we're in the harbor of Amity.
I just call it Amityville as well, even though it's Amity.
I know it's Amity. It's Amity Island.
Yeah.
And so, and you see this boat just sitting there floating. It's nice and calm. But all of a sudden, you see the boat moving. So, our little boy, he's got a little bite of the boat.
Yes.
And then the camera pans down over the night ocean and shallow waters because you're near the shore.
Yeah.
And you can see it's beautifully lit, the gray shadow of what you think is a shark. And it's a gorgeous, literally a gorgeous shot of the whole shark. And then you see the fin come up.
Yeah.
And then the fin, you see the town of Amity Island. You see the town as the fin rises, meaning our boy's back or Junior, whatever you want to call it. It's a great shot, and it's a nice way of reintroducing the shark to the town.
By the way, I would say that part of the Jaws films were filmed on a set for Amity Island, and I actually visited it back in 2017.
Again, you say that, but everyone has.
Well,
everyone's done Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Everyone has. Who gives a fuck?
Not everyone
Yeah,
has.
see? Did it make you feel good? Does that make you feel good, me saying that? No, it doesn't, does it? What I would have said was, wow, what I would have said was, wow, Trevor.
Without being attacked. Wow.
I would just be like, see, you're still talking over. See, I can't even finish the sentence. Can't even finish my sentence. What one point was.
Try your eyes.
My point was, it's hurtful, isn't it? when someone just dismantles a comedy made. What I could have said, wow, that's really amazing. Did you enjoy yourself? No, I wasn't going to do that because I'm just going to pounce on you like you did with that Christopher Walken joke.
Your Walken joke was shit.
Oh, fuck, that was a classic.
Get over
back
it.
to Jaws 2.
Get over it.
Back to Jaws 2.
Yeah, again. Wish the fuck you. I wish the fuck you were on Amity Island whenever the shark came out paddling with your rubber rings on.
There's a funny line. And what I do like about the reintroduction to the town after we see that beautiful shot, the shark coming to town, he's coming to town.
Yep.
Is just the banter between everyone, between Ellen and Brody, and between Hendrix and Brody, and even they're all the same, the same cast and crew, and they're all just shooting the shit, and they're just back to what they do in their normal routines after beating the shark 4 years ago, and there's some playful banter like they did in the original. It doesn't have as much in this one. The writing's a little more sharper on the last one, but there's some great dialogue. There's one where they're talking. Hendrix finds the camera, and he goes to Brody. Brody goes, "Where'd you get that?" It was at the abandoned cruiser. He goes, "Jesus, if I had $100,000 cruiser, I wouldn't leave it abandoned."
Yeah.
And then Hendrix says, "If you had $100,000, there'll be an investigation."
No, I mean,
but it's banter, quick banter like that we had in the original that they do pepper in back in this one.
I would say that, again, it goes back to this is a solid script, but what it's not, I mean, there's a couple of things at least that it's not as good as the original with, and that's character development apart from the Brody character, who has great character development in terms of the dark sort of road that he goes down. I mean, obviously it's not too dark. It's not Possum, put it like that, but I really liked the character arc for Brody here.
Yeah, and the problem with the character arcs here, you're not going to get many of them.
That's the only one, really.
Yeah, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get Hendrix. He's still kind of a whiny nerd.
And the
dipshits. Who cares about the fucking dipshits?
Yeah, they're just shark bait. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of the problem. They were all likable. They're all, they're all there to help each other. None of them was really a dick that you wanted to see get it. You never really give us that villain.
Yeah. There was never like a bully or anything. They were all just sort of dumb kids. And yes, they are annoying. And yes, they're sort of rooting for the shark because you want to see a bit of gore and a bit of action as well. But yeah, I mean, they're in terms of the writing of their characters. Again, it goes back to with so many slicers that it is lightweight in terms of characterization. But I don't think they're really there to be like well thought out sort of characters. They're there to be shark bait, and because they're a bunch of kids, and two of them are Brody's kids, that sort of does up the ante in terms of the conflict and the drama.
Yeah, and that's my point. I can understand why people don't like the film and that's the key reason right there. Also, the movie's 2 hours long, and I think there's a couple of elongated scenes, a couple scenes with the boats floating around, and
yes,
yada yada yada. But again, like the last one, I wouldn't end up much out of it. I would like to have seen more continuity that we got in the original one. I mean by that, I just don't like the way Brody's treated here.
Yeah, but
the same people that he saved from last time.
I know that. I mean, it goes back to Vaughn being like a dick again, but that's okay because he is a dick.
No, it's not okay because when
there has to be conflict, but in terms of the script,
there doesn't. There doesn't.
There does. Of course there does.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
My point is, the best arc, I think. Well, actually, Quint, when he realizes he fucked up, is probably the best one. But no, mine was. I said this was Vaughn's, the mayor, because that's when he when the disaster happens, he tells Brody, my kids were on that beach too, and right there was his arc. Right there was this guy got it. He finally had to take a hit. Oh, the town folk had to take a hit. He gets what he did wrong. And this one, he's like, "Oh, come on, man. There's not another shark." But he's the same guy. And I was like, wait a minute. No. You need to be sticking up for him.
I get what you're saying.
You needed, you know what you needed? You needed Peterson and the rest of the committee to fire Vaughn for sticking up for Brody.
Yes, they could
That
have
would have
had
been perfect.
the reason basically they got Murray Hamilton back, and apparently he had to film his scenes quite quickly because his wife was ill. So they had Murray Hamilton back. So I think they wanted to give him the character something to do. There has to be some sort of conflict, but I agree that they could have had it maybe with one of the other council committee members, being
Pearson.
the dick. Yes, I
Peterson,
agree
he was
with
the
that.
dick.
Yes, of course, yes. But I get that he hasn't learned any lessons from the first film, and there is a lack of continuity there. He basically resorts back to being an asshole. But if you're gonna put the character Vaughn in the film, I sort of want to see him being Vaughn and being an asshole.
No, you got now you've got Peterson and him, and quite frankly, you have Ellen doubting him now too.
Yeah,
and it's like, come on, okay, this guy needs to be given a chance to be heard here,
but
and he
that's
clearly
the
gives him a picture, which is clearly a fucking shark. What? This is like what?
Is it? What's this nonsense to turn around and say is that seaweed? It's a fucking shark face.
I mean,
what are they talking about? Seaweed?
Yeah. It's
At least they could have said something like, "Well, it looks a bit like a dolphin or something," but seaweed? What? It's but there for the Brody character, there has to be some sort of conflict in terms of other people opposing him.
I understand that, but all it was one line fix. Like Vaughn goes, "Give us time. We're going to talk about this."
Yeah.
Next scene, he comes home drunk. He's been fired.
No.
All they needed was one scene where Vaughn meets him in the office. I did what I could. And Vaughn goes, "I stepped away myself."
And it's a great scene.
That's all. That's it. Murray's gone. He's written out. But man, he stuck to his guns. He stuck up for Brody, which he didn't in the first one, and he regrets.
It's a great scene.
Been better.
There's two. I watched this years ago as a kid on TV for the first time when I was a young kid, and I couldn't remember much of it. But the two scenes that I could remember are the one which has always stuck out in my head, where they find the dead whale on the beach, that's eaten. It's all gory and stuff. But also the scene where Brody is basically, whenever he's obsessed with the whole shark thing, whenever he shoots up the beach, basically.
Yeah, well, that's what gets him fired. Well, let's quickly talk about the skier scene, the water skier.
Yes.
She gets eaten.
Yeah, they
I do love
as well.
the dumbass driver.
Yeah.
Where the shark's coming, she picks up the gasoline to do whatever to it. She ends up pouring it on herself and then getting a flare gun.
The absolute stupidity of so many of the characters here. Who, you know what I mean? It's just, she literally, and then the boat, the shark doesn't even kill her. Her own stupidity of blowing up the boat and pouring petrol over herself kills her.
Fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot.
It's like, the shark doesn't even have to bother.
The shark was sitting there reading a book, watching watch this bitch get herself on fire.
By the way, I really liked the look of the shark in this one with the burnt face after this explosion. I think that's pretty cool.
They kept true to that, and they definitely fixed a lot of cosmetics. That was a problem with the first one, and that's why they wanted to show it more, because they invested more. What went wrong, or you can say right, because it was a blessing went wrong in the first one. They decided they're going to show it, so they put a lot of work into the shark and getting it right. So kudos to that. But I think it's funny. You had Ed and Tina who witnessed everything that's happening here. They witnessed the dead whale, the orca thing, and then they witnessed the skier disappearing in the water and the boat blowing up.
Yeah.
So Ed and Tina, and then Ed gets his demise wonderfully. But there's this scene where we meet Dr. Elkins, and very smart woman. And she talks about the shark bites and who it could be. Well, that's a big, and Brody wants it to be a shark almost. He almost wants it to be, which is creepy.
He wants to be right. And he's obsessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but she says, you don't understand. This could have been, the shark, these wounds aren't that older. The orca could have been bitten miles away. And the current brought the whale in. She's trying to be smart with them. And there's a great line where she goes, when Brody's kind of losing the plot at this point, and he goes, well, I heard dolphins can communicate with each other. Do you think if the shark blew up? And she cuts him off and goes, no, sharks don't take things personally.
Yeah, but they do in later films, in the later sequels.
Oh yeah, until part 4.
Yeah,
Wow.
the revenge. This time it's personal.
This the cousin's nephew's brother of Shark number
Yeah.
1.
Sentient shark that is pissed off because of its family getting killed in earlier films.
But jumping back to what you said about where he's now putting the sodium cyanide in these hollow point bullets,
He's turned into Rambo.
and he's now on these lookup towers.
Yeah,
and he loses it, and he screams, "Shark, shark, get out of the water, get out of the water!" And he shoots the fish.
yeah.
But again, it's almost like they're trying to reflect on the scene where I really liked in the first one, where he realized Michael's in the pond and the shark might be in the pond, and he starts going faster and faster and faster. And we're running with him as the jaw scene picks up. It's a really nice little scene. This one, I didn't feel anything. I just felt.
I actually really liked it. And
I didn't. I thought there was no tension. There was no. I think we should have played on it more to where we actually think there's some harm coming. But from the distance, when he sees, I was said, "Oh, that's something else."
It's a dark replay of the scene you're talking about from the first film. But I think actually this dark route that the character is going down is actually the best part of Jaws 2. And this is the sort of highlight of it with this scene where he goes nuts and shoots up the beats.
Yeah, no, I don't mind the act itself.
Mm-hmm.
The lead up to the act and the way the act's handled is not. It just you could have fooled the audience better with that.
I think that possibly they could have had more and more build up with the Brody character basically losing it. But the problem is you had a lot of other characters to juggle, especially the teenagers and also the council committee members. So I would have liked more focus on the Brody character personally, but that's not what we got.
The best jump scare moment is the divers that are just diving in the water for a while there, and one diver separates, and he's got this clearing next to him on the left, and I didn't even see it coming. It just comes out of nowhere, and it's a full-on image of the shark.
Yes.
And it is an underwater shot too, which would be hard to do, and it's actually very good. Didn't see it coming. Well, I saw it coming. I just didn't know when. Or what they did was they elongated the scene a bit. I was like, okay, this is dragging a bit. So you're kind of getting kind of bored a little bit.
Yeah, what's happening here? Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on with the scene? What's the point? And then boom. It's timed well, actually. And it definitely wakes you up to let you know this is the final act coming up.
Yep. Which is basically Brody's sons going out with their mates, even though Brody's oldest son, the 17-year-old one, has been grounded because he got a job. And Brody's a douche to him, but it all makes sense because he's just generally being a douche and he's worried,
I mean, I do like. I thought the film could have been long sometimes, and I felt like that maybe because I wasn't into a lot of the characters, because a lot of them were dealing with the stupid dipshits. But what I felt though, you kind of needed it because you see the opening scene with the photographers. Well, that comes back into play with the camera, the image that he gets. You get the wonderful jump scare with the other divers, but that has to come in. That comes back because Brody follows the ambulance that the guy's gonna be picked up in, and he finds out they don't know what it was, but he figures out there's definitely a shark out here. That's where also when he finds out Michael and Sean, his kids, have gone to take the boat out. So each scene, whether you think is relevant or not, actually is.
No, I know what you're saying, but I personally think it would have worked better. Again, we can only really review what we are given. But I think one of the letdowns for me, I know we're sort of joking about the dipshits, being on the side of the shark and stuff, but genuinely in terms of the tension and threat and overall drama, I think more deaths by the shark of the dipshits would have increased the stakes more, and it would have been more edge of your seat, I think.
Yeah, there's a little too many of those moments where they fall in the water and the shark's about to get them and he pulls them up just in time.
Exactly. And
there's
also, I would say there's too many of the dipshits as well. If they had just focused on maybe 5 of them instead of, I don't know, what is there, 10 of them or something?
They again, going back to what I said about peppering the small moments that matter, that we don't think do at the time. I just mentioned in the beginning of the pod, you got Ed and Tina. These are the 2 dipshits that's found the whale, the 2 dipshits that saw the skier blowing up, whatever.
Yeah.
And yet but they're the ones when Ed does get it. I felt sorry for that kid. That was a terrible way to go.
I know, but I wanted more of that. And
Well, I know. I'm not arguing that, but that is an effective scene. It is probably one of the best kills in all the Jaws. It's when he grabs him and just drags him to the boat, and you can hear him smack.
Yeah.
And then he pops up screaming, help me, help me, help me. And he's trying to find his breath, and he just gets gulped under. And there's Tina, who sells it really nicely.
She's a good actress. She
did a nice job. She did a nice job. They actually they've all done their job. But
and
I wanted more of that. And we do get another great death when Sean falls in the water, she self-sacrifices herself to get him up on this boat. Sean's a little kid, and she literally gets engulfed by the shark.
I think that's the best death, actually, in the entire film. And
it's terrifying because there's a shot where there's a shot when Sean sees her getting engulfed. He's literally seeing her being eaten.
I know. I wanted more of that.
I wish we saw that.
Yeah, and not just because we're sick freaks and we like our gore and all that, but I did want more of that because it really would have raised the stakes, genuinely. So, and again, come back to the dipshits, in their defense, the actresses playing them are all solid. There's nobody really lets a side down in terms of acting here.
Well, they're not bad at all. I just don't like them. I just want them eaten.
But that's to do with the writing of them. And you know what? Teenagers are irritating and annoying anyway. So, who wants a sensible teenager in a slasher or a killer shark film? It wouldn't work. That's the whole point.
Let's talk about the batshit crazy scene.
Which one?
The chopper.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That works
well. Am I the only one? I fucking love this scene. It's shot well.
It's pretty well done.
I like when the shark grabs it and starts pulling it under, and then the minute the blades hit the water, they fly. Now this sounds sick and morbid, but I'm saying it now. Now the blades fly and they cut up the boats, causing a little more ruckus with the little raft they had to make with all these different boats. But I would like to have seen one of those blades go right through one of their fucking heads. No, I know it. No, that's guys. I know you think, oh, that's it. But let's see a death that's not the shark.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, I know you've got issues and you probably need some sort of psychiatric help, but I suppose in your defense, it would work in terms of raising the stakes. Yeah. So, yeah, wasted opportunity.
Am I wrong? Like that annoying one, Jack, you kept fucking screaming the whole time.
The problem is it's a summer blockbuster. It's not an 18 certificate. It's not actually an 18 certificate slasher. But
okay, even better. Got it. Here we go.
Go ahead.
The blade comes at us, right? But then all of a sudden you see Jackie's body just fly and she hits the water and she's floating down the water with the blade sticking out of her. You don't have to see her penetrate. I'm classy. Right. You don't have to see it penetrate, but then you see all the blood coming, and then the shark just
right. Yeah, well, yeah, like a scalping with a helicopter blade, and then our dead remains eaten by a shark. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm up for that.
What's the problem?
I've seen worse.
There's a cut scene, and you can watch it on the 4K. I don't know why they just don't put it back in. They actually, and it worked. I don't know what they said why they cut it.
Maybe for
but when the chopper is brought down, we see the pilot inside the little cockpit.
Yeah.
And the shark gets into the cockpit, the side of it, and grabs him.
Maybe they thought it looked a bit fake. I haven't seen the scene. I don't know.
Yeah, you can probably YouTube it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd like to have seen that. But it was a good shot because, there's a pilot. They're helping them. Okay, this is cool. They're going to be all right. And then I didn't see that. It fucking takes it down. So funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jaws. Yeah, then you got Brody comes to save the day. Yeah, you're probably right with Brody because Brody's in the original afraid of water, doesn't like boats, blah, blah, blah. Now he's commanding a boat.
He's Rambo on water, basically.
Yeah.
With electric cables that are under the sea and all sorts. I would say I did enjoy watching the death of the shark with the electric cable, But yes,
I thought
Brody's
I
novel.
thought that. Yeah, open wide and say
Open wide,
and,
motherfucker. That's what he missed.
and it because he remembers when Dr. Elkin says, "Well, they're attracted to sound."
Yes. It's set
So
up.
that's
Yeah.
why he's
It's set up earlier. We even see the
and then
electric
so's the
cable earlier.
cabling.
Yeah.
So's the cabling.
Yeah, I know.
That's set up. But again, each scene is set up properly.
It's a good
So
script.
yeah, whether you think the scene is necessary or not, they are telling you something, whether you catch it or not,
They're
is going to be
forwarding the
relevant.
plot, or they're setting up
Exactly.
stuff for later on. Again, the script is
Exactly.
solid.
Yeah, and our boy saves the day. And I like the shark's eyes are on fire and smoking.
It's a great death. Yeah. Again,
Good death.
it
It
gets
works
back
for
to
me.
the sort of horror slasher elements. You know what I mean? At the end of every slasher, the bad guy has to have a cool death, and the bad guy here, the shark, does.
Jaws 2.
I like it.
I like it,
I've
guys.
always
I'm
liked it.
sorry. I can't get mad at it. I
Yep.
enjoy this film. I own it. I have it on 4K. I enjoy it. I can watch it again. I have no problem with this movie at all. I don't get me wrong. It's not Jaws. It's not even close to Jaws.
It lacks
But
attention.
fuck, it's a good time.
And it lacks attention and the character development of the original. I bet it lacks Spielberg, essentially. But at the same time, I think it deserves a bigger rating and more respect. And maybe it has over the years. But you said it has like a 5.9 or something on IMDb.
It's not worse. It's not worse, yeah.
I would give it at least a 7.
I would.
Yeah.
Jaws is an 8 something. This is definitely a 7 at
Yeah.
least. You know, they admit to what they had, and they up the body count, up the shark, showing up.
And while, I know we're laughing at the teenagers and stuff and all that sort of thing, but they're doing exactly what they're meant to do, and that's part of the fun. It's like a Friday the 13th film.
Yeah, but before Friday the 13th was before that genre was built. This is 79, so
They were
weren't
ahead of the
there.
game.
But yeah, guys, if you haven't seen it, and seriously, a lot of people might not because the traditionalists with Jaws. Jaws is, like I told you before, is a masterpiece. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, you won't touch it. But someday, movie studios are going to want to make some money on that success. And Jaws 2 is, they did what they said they set out to do, and I wasn't offended by it. They told you this is what we're giving you. Hope you at least have a smile on your face. And I did. So what more can you ask for?
Yeah, it's decent and it's entertaining.
And the great thing about them, they didn't try to copy and paste. And that's what's important. They didn't try to get a veteran actor to replace Robert Shaw. They didn't try to get a young up-and-comer to replace Richard Dreyfuss. They just worked with what they had.
I continued the story.
They didn't try to overmarket. They didn't try to replace Quinn. They didn't try to replace Hooper.
Yeah, they continued the story. A Brody's story, especially.
Well, there you go, guys. Jaws 2. Up next, I don't know.
Piranha, maybe.
Maybe Piranha. Little shark.
Alligator.
Little alligator. Well, we're going to do reptile movie and a tiny fish movie during Shark Month. We'll figure it out.
We're just making this up as we go along, folks, as no doubt you've gathered.
God, we're fucking terrible. You know what I do? This is what we're going to do. We're doing a double feature. What? You're saying
feature?
double feature? Double feature during Shark Month? We are. Because we got a lot of films coming. So we're going to do a double feature. From Shark Month, we're going to do other monster double feature, which would include little killer fish, piranha, and alligator. Boom, a reptile one.
Right.
We're going to do back-to-back full double podcast. Boom, classics.
Okay. I would like a request at some point too of Night of the Lepus from the 1970s.
I just to fucking watch that.
I do, and I have watched it recently again. It's basically giant killer rabbits.
Okay, but now we're going away. Now you're moving away from water now. Okay, at least a reptile movie and a little fish movie.
I don't mean during Shark Month. I mean at another point.
Maybe.
And Bones from Star Trek's in it. So beat that.
Oh, wow. Bones from Star Trek.
Exactly.
Damn it, Jim, they're rabbits. Oh, you laugh at that.
I like that joke. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But the Christopher Walken was a piece of shit.
No, I appreciate the Bones one.
All right. I want to give a shout out to our very active listener. We mentioned him last time, or her, I don't know, in New Jersey, an active listener in California, and our little silent wonder in Indiana.
Hello, Indiana.
I'm trying to think of what's Indiana. Okay. Isn't Yale in Indiana?
I don't know.
That could explain it.
Right?
They've been headhunting me, Yale.
Right?
They'd be like, God, Ciaran, we'd love you to come and graduate with, be part of one that, be one of those honorary PhDs or something.
What would your PhD be in?
Well,
Talking shite?
what would it be in? I mean,
Shit talking.
I'm a Renaissance man here.
You pass out, you get the wee scroll and the wee hat and all, you know what I mean? A doctorate of shit talk.
So there you go. Yale, you got to back off here. I appreciate you downloading us. I just don't have time. I got so much going on.
Yeah. You get Shark Month. Give him a break.
It's Shark Month going on right now, Yale.
How time for your nonsense, Yale?
Hold on, I want to make sure I'm right. Is Yale in Indiana?
I don't know.
You can't fucking Google that in 2 seconds for me?
I don't have Google up. You do it.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Why, I look like your servant?
Fucking hell.
I know you've got a
Yale
degree now and
University.
a doctorate.
Oh, I'm not even close.
Well, there you go. Your doctorate. Your doctorate obviously isn't in fucking geography.
Yeah, Yale's in Connecticut.
There you go.
Well, they're not going to want me now.
No. But you
Okay,
do Shark Month anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Wait, hold on. Indiana universities. What we got in Indiana that's big? Is there any what do you call it? Ivy League
Who knows?
schools.
I'm sure it's a lovely part of the world, though.
It's called the Midwest. They call it the flyover states.
Right? Right? Well,
Wait,
a big shout out to Indiana. Why not?
wait. Is that? No. All the big schools are all on the East Coast.
Okay.
Looks like. Oh, there you go. Sorry, Yale. You're in Connecticut. All right. Guys, give us a shout out. Sister Fame _ podcast on Instagram. And of course, always on Facebook. That's all I've got. Anything you want to add?
No, it's all good. I'm looking forward to Piranha and Alligator. So there you go.
Yeah, double feature.
Yeah.
And
Feature.
I'm excited for that one.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, guys, thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves. We'll chat soon. All the best.